The Bucks are going to win the NBA championship, and in this video, I'm going to simply break it down. Gentlemen, the NBA season is less than 3 days away, and so far we've covered the Boston Celtics and the Phoenix Suns and how I think their season is going to go. But a team that a lot of people have wanted me to talk about that I haven't really went too in depth in is the Milwaukee Bucks. Gentlemen, about 2 weeks ago, I predicted who I thought was going to win the NBA Finals, which by the way, that video did numbers. And in that video, I talked about the Bucks being one of 2 teams that I thought had the best chance to actually win the finals. And in the video, I did say I thought they were going to win the finals, but after a couple weeks, I still am going to stand on that point. Now in that video, I only talked about Milwaukee for like 3 to 4 minutes, and I didn't go into in depth as much as I actually wanted to. But in this video, I decided to give them a dedicated video on why not only do I think they're going to win the finals, but Milwaukee is in the best position compared to other teams. I think it's only right we talk about the trade that just went down not too long ago, and that was the trade for Damian Lillard. I think this trade completely switched Milwaukee's position in the East and what they're capable of doing. Before, Milwaukee was a team that had a chance to make the finals, but honestly, they were capped out as a conference finals appearance. But now I feel like this team is instantly the best team in the Eastern Conference. Now, from a casual's perspective, obviously getting Damian Lillard, one of the best point guards in the NBA, even at the age he's at right now, and having someone who is considered to be the best player in the NBA, that is a great partnership, especially because a pick and roll with Damian Lillard and Giannis is something that is not going to be easy to defend. I mean, most people would simply let the ball handler just go to work and shoot the ball or try to create space and defend Giannis most of the time. But now you're in a position where you have to choose defending Giannis or defending Damian Lillard, and already that is a very difficult thing to do. I watched a couple of the Bucks preseason games, and I know it's just preseason, so I'm trying not to analyze it too much in depth, but what I've noticed is that both Dame and Giannis have had a pretty easy job getting open. In fact, Giannis has said it himself, he's never been this open, and that's because Giannis has usually been the guy for the past 5 years that has gotten the most defensive attention on that side of the ball. And mind you, this is while having a guy like Chris Middleton consistently on his team. And even though I've said Drew Holiday is the equivalent to, I've already made too many Hitler jokes this week, but look, even though I've been very critical of Drew Holiday, he was still someone that sometimes could be a consistent scorer, sometimes. And mind you, now we have a Chris Middleton who is pretty healthy because last year he missed a lot of games, but this year it seems like he's getting back into the swing of things. And you replace Drew Holiday with fucking Damian Lillard. From a casual's perspective, this is a lot. But from someone who actually watches the games and likes to look at it from a different perspective, I love this move completely for both guys. I genuinely think Giannis is going to have an MVP season because it is going to be very hard to decide who you're going to defend outright. Are you going to send doubles to Dame or are you going to send it to Giannis? Honestly, it's pretty hard to double Giannis as it is already. And now if you want to double Dame, that's great. Let me throw it to Giannis or Chris Middleton or one of our other shooters. Honestly, I think this is going to be a very hard team to guard. A team I try to look at that is similar to this situation is the Phoenix Suns, but the difference is they have a lot of scorers, but most of them are guards or play like guards. Like Kevin Durant is not a true big man. We all know that. Another team I thought about was, what about a duo of James Harden and Joel Embiid? But I do not think that duo at all got to the possibilities that they could have gotten to. For one, Harden is completely out of his prime, and Embiid is a consistent playoff choker. The point I'm trying to make is that I think this is going to be a very interesting experiment that either goes terribly wrong or this becomes a team that it's going to be impossible to defend. I think I just realized that this accidentally became a Dame and Giannis segment, but I'm just going to stay on this topic. Look, either Dame or Giannis is going to be in consideration for the MVP, and I don't doubt that this is going to be a very interesting year for both of these players. But look, we got to talk about some other stuff because I could talk about Dame and Giannis for hours. In fact, I did in the last video when I talked about Milwaukee. But someone that I think we need to talk about is Chris Middleton, because Cash Money Chris is going to have one hell of a year. I said something very similar in my Suns video, but I do think Chris Middleton as a third option is going to be something scary. Similar to the Bradley Beal comparison that I made, I think Bradley Beal can average a cool 20 points per game and it'll be just fine. Now, despite what my boy Hood Genius is going to tell you, the Bucks are not going to average 190 points per game, and Chris Middleton is not going to average over 21. I expect his stats to decline, but I don't think that's really going to matter because I don't think Chris Middleton is playing for stats. I think he's playing for an NBA title, and Milwaukee has the best chance with him at the third option. Now, they could score all the points they want to, and I even said this in my Suns video, which I feel like I keep referencing a lot. If you know, you know. But like I said, the Bucks are going to score a lot, but the defensive side of the ball, in my opinion, is what matters the most because I'll live and die on the fact that defense wins championships. Now, if we just switch Drew Holiday and Damian Lillard, right? Point guard for point guard. We understand that Drew Holiday is a good defender. I know the Drew Holiday hate is going to come from me, but usually he's a good perimeter defender. And Damian Lillard has been considered to be a below average perimeter defender. And now I'm not going to try to make the point that I think Dame is all of a sudden going to be an average perimeter defender, but I do think Milwaukee's Milwaukee's approach to using Dame on the defensive side is going to be kind of like a cover. I think Malik Beasley is going to have to do most of the work for the guards on the perimeter side of the ball. I do expect Malik Beasley to be the point of attack defender for Adrian Griffin's scheme because I just think it's the role that fits him best. I don't think Dame can play that role. Something that I've noticed while going back and watching some of the Raptors games is that Adrian Griffin has some of the weirdest fucking defensive schemes I think you're ever going to see. And I think it's going to be very well known with the way he uses Giannis and Brook Lopez, two of the best interior defenders in our league. Also, I just want to mention the fact that the Bucks last year had the number 4 ranked defense in the NBA. Now, I don't expect them to stay a top 5 defense. I do expect them in the regular season to be around the top 10. I think they'll have a little bit of a drop, but their interior is probably still going to be top 3. Something else that I pay attention to these teams is their depth and how they handle, I guess, the other guys on the team. I talked about in the Boston video, but the fact they had no depth was a very scary thing to me, and overall, I was just not confident in that team to do well. Phoenix, I thought had pretty solid depth, and that's why I was confident in them. And honestly, I think Milwaukee, they have solid depth. While statistically, they probably don't have the best bench in the NBA, what they do have is a team that is ready to play. Bucks fans might hate this, but the Bucks are in a championship or bust situation. While Dame is not a grandpa, he is getting up there in age, and I don't know how long this championship window with this specific team is going to last. I'm not saying they're a team where, oh, they only have 1 or 2 years and they're done, but I do think this year is going to be very telling of how good this duo is. If they come up just short and they only have a few minor things to work on, then I'm not that concerned. But if they're a team that gets bounced out the first or second round and they have problems that we've seen before, like Giannis having some very terrible postseasons, or even Damian Lillard himself, he's had some terrible postseasons in the past. This season, I think, is going to mean a lot more to Bucks fans than any of the past seasons that they've had. They are here to show this team that they are built different. They are here to win a goddamn championship. They ain't settling for a first round exit, a second, make it a conference finals. Nah, they want to win a fucking championship. And I think out of all the teams they've produced in the past 4 to 5 years, this is the fucking team that is going to get it done. They got a brand new coach. They have a brand new star player in Damian Lillard. They have a different mindset. This entire system has completely changed. And honestly, I think it's going to end only in one way. And that is holding a fucking Larry O'Brien at the end of this year. Milwaukee, I need you to answer this to me. People are saying you're not good enough to win a title. Giannis is fake. Damian Lillard, he's fake. He's not ready. That 2021 ring, it was an injury ring. That shit should not count. That's the real bubble ring. Milwaukee, how the fuck will you respond? Giannis, how are you going to respond to the fact that some people think Jokic is better than you? Dame, people have been saying you're not even close to Steph's level and you never will be. Chris Middleton, they're saying you're a bald-headed prick, which that's probably true. They're saying this team isn't ready for prime time. Milwaukee, how will you respond? Gentlemen, Milwaukee is the team that I think is going to get it done, and I'm going to reiterate it the entire year. And I'm not even gonna lie to you, I'm a Phoenix Suns fan. Die fucking hard till the day I die. And this is the only team in the entire Eastern Conference that I do not want to play. I am genuinely scared to face this team. And for anyone else in the NBA, you should be too, especially if you're a Celtics fan. And if you want to know why, well then click the video on the screen right here. Also, gentlemen, we just dropped the Young Mustard episode on the Starting Five podcast. Make sure y'all boys go check that out.